Welcome, Kash Alavi,
Yeah, thank you.
or should I say credit?
Credit,
Who do I have with me today?
Today it's Kash. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't have my wig on.
Not sure which personality I'm talking about, but yeah, you're right. There's no wig, so I think I'm safe for now.
Unfortunately, I don't have that lush hair on my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish it was my real hair, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah.
So, Kash, let's talk about your real estate business. We'll start off your real estate business. How you got into the business. From what I'm told, there's a big influence there from your father on your the creative side of what you've brought to real estate. But how'd you make the transition into real estate and growing up in Toronto?
So when we came to Canada in '94, we didn't have much, and my parents ended up divorcing, and I was living with my mom for a bit. But then after a while, I had to move in with my dad to be closer to my school. And when I did do that, I was pretty much living in the same room and sleeping in the same bed as my dad. He would snore. Our space was tight. My two oldest sisters were with us at the time in a 2-bedroom apartment. And it was just really tight space, and it was getting to me. Like we would go to a friend's house. I was breakdancing at the time, and I needed space. I didn't have space to breakdance. I didn't have space to do any sorts of hobbies. And I was jealous of my friends who had like basements or backyards, and I would just harass my dad, be like, we need a house. We got to move into a house. And it was great because the kids in my grade at the time all wanted cars, and I was like focused on the house. And I'm so happy now. Like back then I just needed the space. I wasn't really thinking investment wise. So he was like, he's like, I can't afford it. You got to go find a job and pitch in, and maybe we'll buy a house.
And you're how old at this time?
I was like 15 at the time.
It's a big ask of a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and I was really threatening my dad. I was like, if we don't buy a house, I'm gonna go take whatever money I have and put it in a car, an Acura Integra. And he's like, no, don't do that. That's not a good idea. It's not a good wise investment. So, anyways, that summer, my sisters found a job, and because we spoke French, we got a bilingual job. It was paying a bit more than your minimum wage, and they're like, why don't you apply? And I was like, really? They're gonna hire me? I went for the interview and I got the job, and I just started working my ass off. I had no financial commitments, no cell phone bills, no nothing. And I just started saving every bit of cash I could. I think in one summer I made close to 10 grand. And that's when I was like, I got the cash, and it motivated my sister, motivated my dad, and we like kind of pulled our money together and we went and bought our first house. We kind of stumbled on it. It was on Bayview and near Bayview Village, on the main street.
So after you save this money up, how old are you at this point? The start when you're
16.
15. So you're 16.
Yeah.
So that's impressive.
So we're driving to Richmond Hill, and on the way we see this beautiful house on Bayview, but to us it was like mansion coming from like a small apartment. And we drove by it, and there was this for sale sign, and we're like, Dad, what do you think of this? And he's like, it's probably too expensive. It's Bayview Village. Don't even think about it. My sister's like, just call the agent. You never know. So we called the agent, turned around, and he's like, I could be there. I could show it to you right away. We went, saw the house. They were asking $350,000, I think, and we bought it for like $330,000. We had to like pool our monies together. We took, we borrowed some for the land transfer, this, that. Like we just made it happen. And I feel like that was the start of my real estate career because it sparked something in me. And I'm like, okay, so this is how you go through the purchase. And then my dad was like, hey, now you got to pay like 1/3 of the mortgage, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I'm going to school. I don't know what you're talking about. And then he's like, no, you're responsible. Like, I can't carry this on my own. So we thought about it, and we're like, you know what? We're going to renovate the basement and rent it out. So we went to Home Depot on Saturdays. They had like classes on framing and drywalling. And I learned just a little bit to get me started. I did a shit job of the basement, but I got it done, and I rented it room by room, and we're making like $1,600 a month. It was like carrying most of the mortgage, and it was great. It was an amazing feeling.
It's a good number at the time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great number. Yeah. 2001, yeah. 2001, and then it really like it clicked. I was like, I went through the process of purchasing and then renovating, renting out. Now I'm a landlord. There's a lot of things that happen in between. Obviously, like learning to be a landlord was very difficult at 16. Mm-hmm. The first few guys that showed up with like the down payment or the first and last, I was like, yes, you got the unit. And then I had trouble with them. I had problems. I had people doing like coke in their rooms, people that weren't paying rent anymore. So I had to learn to deal with bad tenants, kick them out. And it was all on me too. Like my dad's like, oh, you got to deal with it, whatever. So I'm happy he allowed me to do that, or pushed me to do that, because that's where I got a lot of the experience earlier on. And then I was like, let's do it again. So we did it again on another house. And then I saw another opportunity in Bayview Village. It was a flip opportunity. I was like, this is way underpriced. It was listed for like $860. The agent wasn't doing a good job. I had a feeling like it could go for a lot more. The market was on its way up too. So we bought it and literally closed on it. And then we sold it again for like 1.1, made a good chunk of cash there. It kind of, sent me forward to do other things, other investments. Eventually I built a house and then made a ton of mistakes on that. I overstretched myself, and I think I lost money. I made money on paper, but I technically lost money. Yeah, I could have made a lot more money just doing my sales or whatever. But that's really how I got into real estate sales. And then fast forward, I was still working at Bell. This was like 8 years now. The department I was working at.
So you're 24.
We were like 23, 24. The department I was working at, we were selling satellite space to commercial, for like commercial businesses, or like Toyota or Cineplex. They were broadcasting live HD through the satellite receivers and satellite, in space and stuff. We'd sell bandwidth. And eventually when the internet caught up and you could do HD streaming online, it kind of slowly killed our business and our department closed. They gave me a package. And at that time I had already just signed up for the courses. And I was like, this is a sign. I got to just go for it.
The real estate courses.
Real estate courses, yeah. So it kind of, things fell into place, to be honest with you. Like it was just kind of, I was directed and herded into this direction. At first it was like, I really love homes. I really love the space. And then I got into the renos and everything else. And that's how I ended up.
What an incredible, valuable lesson at the age of 16.
Oh, yeah.
You couldn't you need to box that and put it into a course, right? Like that's an incredible value that a 16-year-old to go through. And how many 16-year-olds had that opportunity? And at the time, it wasn't necessarily, you wouldn't look at it as an opportunity. You're being forced to to make ends meet in order to live in a space that is allowable square footage for you and your family. But
yeah. No, it was great, because at the time I didn't know, but it was setting me up, because I was doing all of this stuff and I was talking about it with my friends and the people I worked with at Bell. It was kind of like indirect marketing for myself. It was advertising that, hey, I'm getting into real estate. Hey, now I'm renovating. Now I'm managing tenants. I'm a landlord. And these are the issues I'm dealing with. So people were there throughout the process of me, buying the house.
Inspiring.
It was inspiring. And then they would come to me and also ask questions, and they wanted to become landlords. They wanted to invest. At the time, I didn't have my license, so I was just helping people because I'd gone through it. And I think that gave me an advantage, because when I got my license, it was a smooth transition between just helping people and getting paid for it.
Yeah,
right?
That's great.
Yeah.
So fast forward, then you're 24 years old, and you decide you got to go through the courses and get your license. How did starting out in real estate? Again, you had a crazy, quick education, but how did the first year go?
So I should have joined a team, I think. Like looking back at it now, I would have learned a lot more from a team and kind of like cut my learning curve. But it was kind of, it was like free for all. It was me by myself, and I was trying to collect as many, clients as I could. Some of it came to me directly from Bell, where I used to work, or my school and stuff. And some I kind of went after. I joined Remax Realtron at the time because Barry Cohen was there, and I could see his signs at Bayview and York Mills. I'd drive through those mansions and look at them and imagine
you want
myself.
to absorb through osmosis Barry Cohen, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I was so naive at the time. I thought brokerages interviewed us. I didn't think we interviewed brokerages.
Yeah.
So I went to Remax Realtron. It was the first place I went because of Barry Cohen, and then they're like, yeah, we would love to have you. And I'm like, yes, I got accepted. Thinking I did something special. But obviously any brokerage is willing to take on new agents. Anyway, so I started there, and it was, looking back at it, to be honest with you, I would never go back there. I think the environment is not a healthy one. It was very competitive. It was like a dog-eat-dog, backstabbing kind of culture. If you left an address on the table somewhere, someone saw that, they would have been at that home trying to get the listing.
Yeah.
And
Very old school.
Very old school, and I learned a lot, I guess, to kind of have thicker skin. I lost a bunch of listings that way. But it made me feel like every salesperson was out to get me, It wasn't until after later on when I switched over to Remax Hallmark and seeing brokerages like yours that it opened up my eyes to like what the collaboration and helping each other and having a healthy and working environment really meant.
Yeah.
You could do a lot more transactions amongst your colleagues versus like in a setting like that where it's very competitive. You don't even want to mention an address.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it. There's like a bitter kind of,
Yeah, it's an old school mentality, right? And I actually have a lot of hope for old guys. People love to bitch about the next generation coming up and whatnot, but I think there's a tremendous amount of value in this generation that's coming up that they are very collaborative. They've been raised in kind of team environments and collaboration, right?
Yep.
So I think that's a big plus for this generation because, like I said, there's so much business out there in the GTA, right? We don't need to be fighting over listings.
Exactly.
Within our office, especially, that more business was coming out of collaborating, and communicating with other realtors. Right?
And it was very embarrassing because like in that brokerage, there would be a lot of complaints from the community, local neighborhood. And I don't mean to bash, but like this is what I was witnessing. And, like when you have a community that looks down on that brand, it's bad for the next guy who's working at that brokerage because you're going to have a tough time getting a listing because the reputation isn't great. So that's very important. So you got to look at it from a different perspective. Yes, you could be competitive, trying to steal someone's listing. You might make a quick buck out of that listing. But if the reputation in the neighborhood is tainted, then you're going to lose out on other business. So like, what's really the point? Are you really gaining or are you losing? So no, definitely collaboration, working in conjunction with the brokerage, your colleagues, to build a better brand that's well respected in the community it's much more important for sure.
So how long did you last in that environment before you moved on?
I was there for 6 years.
For 6 years. Okay.
I didn't know any better, to be honest with you. Like
you thought it was normal.
I thought it was normal. Yeah.
And for a big part of the industry, especially maybe at that time, it was, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of brokerages out there, and there's a ton of brokerages. Every single one of them will promise you a certain thing, but they all have a different culture. This is what I'm realizing. Culture is very important. And the more I do social media content, the more I realize culture is very important because you want to be around like-minded people that encourage your certain things that your habits that, are doing well for you or keeping you as a, healthy individual, business-wise, family-wise, whatever. And there's a lot of brokerages out there that are not really producing or they're not encouraging their realtors to better themselves, to get education, whatever, coaching. And then you end up becoming stale in that brokerage. But you don't know any better. It's like being in an abusive relationship. You don't know that if you should leave that partner or not leave that partner. And so it's very important to go out there and explore and have communications like I do with you. We're friends now. And
relationships, yeah.
Relationships, and I get to see how you do your inside kind of stuff with your brokerage and your agents, and I admire the things you do and the effort that you're putting into content making, your studio, your green screen, and also encouraging your realtors, especially the older guys who don't want to get on content, which should be getting on content. Yeah. So I appreciate that about you and how you're pushing that on your...
and likewise, same amount of respect for you and what you're doing, right? That's why you're here today. So let's, we're talking about social, and I agree a lot of the... I have quite a few older agents that are really apprehensive about it. They built their business on networking and making the rounds in the neighborhood and the communities that they want to work in, and which is great. That's how a big foundation can be built in this business. Tell me how social and building content can help those guys as well, because a lot of them are very apprehensive to put themselves out there online.
So this is what I've noticed. The reason they're apprehensive is because they've built an image doing what they were doing, which was like flyering and so on and so forth. So for them to come on camera, they're afraid that their clients now are going to see them from a different angle and change their perspective or change their opinions of them. But it's very important to understand the exponential, like effort that you can get out of social media content. For example, if you're sending out flyers, first of all, 90% or a bunch of people don't want to get junk mail, especially in East York. When I was sending out flyers in East York, a lot of the ones that have checkmarked from Canada Post, they wouldn't get the mail at all. And I realized I wouldn't get calls from them until I got someone private to deliver the flyers and I started doing more business. But when you're doing a video, you can immediately see the amount of views you're getting and you get immediate feedback. You get how many comments, you see what people think of it. And that's very important. It's very crucial because then you can adjust and see what people like, what they don't like, what attracts them to you. Sure. And then you can repeat that over and over again and increase your numbers and you get calls.
I think the apprehension on the paper and the print advertising these days from those receiving it, that the ones that are opting out. It started off prior to COVID because of the environmental impact, but now post COVID, even more so. People just don't want the paper. They don't want to be. They don't want to be receiving items from abroad. And
there's also something like it's like the old school way of like door knocking. Door knocking still happens, but it's like the door-to-door sales. Back then, people were happy when someone was at their door. They'd be interested. They'd be running there. You'd have people that drop by, for a visit. Nowadays, that feels like it's almost an intrusion. People don't want you to come to their door. And that flyer is an extension of that. It's like, here it is. Like, I'm putting my flyer into your mailbox and like, you got to use me. And even me, I feel that way. Like sometimes I come home and there's like 10 flyers from different realtors. Yeah. And it's like, I had enough of you. I want to unfollow your physical flyers. With social media, is like they will follow you if they connect with you, if they like your content, if they like your personality, and it's almost like a voluntarily kind of approach. And then you can capitalize on that much easier because people already enjoy your presence. They enjoy your opinion. And it's much easier to do business with those kind of people.
Well, and you know what? Just to back up at the paper, the print advertising, I don't necessarily think there's no role for it, but and I agree with you. When I get all the junk mail, I don't want to even look at it. It just goes right into the recycling bin. But if there's a personality that I'm following online, like yourself, right?
Yeah.
We know each other now. We've become friends now. But even prior to meeting you for the first time, I felt like I knew you, right?
Exactly.
I built a relationship with you that you didn't even know about because I was following your content. I got to see who you are, and you put yourself out there. So it's very easy to see what type of person you are. When I get a flyer from you, I'm like, oh, it's Kash, or credit, I should say.
Yeah.
So you feel like you know this person. You're a little bit more apprehensive to take that into the house and take a good look at it because it's somebody I actually know now.
True.
Right?
You're right. And that's actually very true because when I go to my listing presentations now, I really don't bring anything anymore. I used to have to make a case for who I am and how I do business and so on. But if you're following me and you call me and say, come and list my house, you've already seen all my stories of how I stage, how I send my handy guy to paint and fix issues, and how I take my movers and move all your stuff out, declutter the house, do everything from A to Z. So you've seen that process, and then you've seen the sold. So you're like, okay, his marketing process, his video making, like you're familiar with all of it. So by the time you call me to list your house, you don't want me to sit there for 2 hours explaining to you what I'm going to do for you and what you're going to get from Kash Alavi group, right?
Yeah.
So,
and oftentimes I hear agents say, that's just not my clients. My clients want to see my ad in the Globe and Mail, or they want to see my ad in the neighborhood magazine, or they want to see it on postcards. But you're a 50-year-old agent that's very successful, that has a demographic of clients that are anywhere from late 40s to maybe as high as late 70s. Okay, so maybe that's true, but you're 50 years old. You have 15, 20 years left in your career. Do you not want to be capturing their kids and their grandchildren, right? Who are going to be choosing who they work with when it comes to banking or realtors or whoever in a much different way.
Yeah.
Right?
And when they say that, that's just an identity they've created for themselves in their minds.
Yeah.
Because that's not true. Every single person nowadays likes to see content. We like to see video. If I buy something, do I want to read the book the instruction book, or do I just want to see a quick video of how it works? Of course, I want to see a quick video.
I can't even see the instructions anymore, so
Yeah,
I go
exactly.
right to YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah, you can't, you need your glasses, right?
Yeah.
So no, it's that's just an idea that they've created in their mind to justify why they're not doing content.
Yeah.
But the reality is they will definitely benefit from content. I wouldn't be sitting here. It's funny. The other day I was walking down. I was at the gym. I was on the treadmill. I was doing a video of myself for my stories. The guy next to me, older gentleman, he's like, "Oh, you're talking about farm and stuff like that," and I'm like, "Yeah." So we started talking, and he's like, "What do you do?" I'm like, "I'm a realtor," and he goes, "Oh," he does this, and I'm like, "What do you mean? Like that's rude, right?" And then I started thinking to myself, because I realized people do dislike realtors, and generally speaking, and the reason why is because our business is not really regulated. We have a ton of realtors in the city of Toronto and GTA, and not all of them are actually doing business, right? So when you're dealing with a part-time agent, you might have a bad experience because A, they're at work somewhere, they're not picking up your calls. They're not in and out of homes. They don't know valuation. So you get a bad experience, and then you label all the realtors as bad realtors. When you're on social media, you're showing your day-to-day kind of like routine. You're showing what you're dealing with. You're showing the professionalism you're providing to your clients. You're showing your experience, your knowledge. It makes you stand out of the rest. So already I feel much more confident having content, because I feel like I'm not just a realtor. I'm Kash Alavi, and my followers know who I am and how much work and effort and
Exactly.
energy and service I provide.
Yeah.
So it gives me a lot more confidence that a business card wouldn't otherwise do. These other realtors who have already established their network, they get that feeling from the network they've created already. That's why they don't feel like they should go to content making, but they don't understand that what they have with content would exponentially grow and double and triple up. And unfortunately, a lot of the seasoned guys, like a lot of them, don't make content. And that's unfortunate, because if one of them really decided like, hey, I'm going to take this on and I'm going to be serious about it, I'm not going to give up on it, they would like skyrocket and kill all the other guys who they're competing with.
Yeah.
But we're not going to tell them that, because
It's funny, you talk about 70,000 agents in the GTA, right? There has been a massive barrier to entry to get to that 70. We both know about 5,000 of those agents are, there's 70,000 people that are called realtors. There's 5,000 realtors.
Yeah,
right?
real realtors.
People that take this serious, that run it as a business, they provide the value that you do to your clients, and a big part of that, if you look at the brokerage model, and not getting into my business, not yours for a minute, but the brokerage model has been beaten up so much over the years. The commission is compressed, the relationship and the value that brokers are bringing to agents compressed as well along with that over the years, that you're right, the brokerage model is a volume play. So you have a pulse, and the brokerages are inviting you through the front door.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the product of what you get in that type of system.
And it's tough, because the more agents you get, the more work you have to do to keep the sheets and the balance sheets and provide them with service and so on. So I feel for you, because I know you're trying to do a good job, just like the broker owners at my office. Deborah, Ken, Steve, they do a great job at providing service to their realtors, but it's a fine line between just collecting any sort of agent that's not necessarily going to be producing, but also requires help and assistance and so on, and just trying to get quality agents who are doing good amount of business to, again, have a good reputation about that brokerage. So I think you're doing a fantastic job, and you're making all the efforts to do that, which is why I'm here, which is why I appreciate our time together, because we always have good, productive discussions. And, it's great to see a broker owner, like you said, because you guys have taken such a small, because back in the day it was like 50-50 all around.
For sure.
So the brokerages were making...
And the agents were getting the value out of that 50-50 relationship.
Exactly, yeah. They were getting the value, but it was also different. So the brokerages would do most of the marketing, the agents would just service. Now, like, agents are responsible for most of their stuff, and you guys are responsible for them, doing well, like whether it's education and providing them opportunities and stuff. But with the way you're doing it, the effort, because you don't have to put the effort in,
No.
but you decide to do, because that's going to better your agents, build
sure.
your reputation, build your brokerage, and then attract other like-minded realtors who want to be in that same culture.
Exactly.
So that's good. It's appreciated. It's just like how I go above and beyond for my clients, and I make sure that their home is staged, their home is painted, the repairs are done, we declutter their home. I don't have to do that. There's a ton of agents, especially in a hot market, you can just put it on the market and it'll just sell itself.
Exactly.
And clients will never know if they would have gotten $2 million or 2.1, because you only get one chance at selling your house. So what if you did do the staging and the repairs and it looked really nice? It would have gotten you an extra $100,000, but you don't know that.
We both know that goes a long way. It
goes a
really
long way.
does. You get more eyeballs on the property,
Yeah.
right? And it can make a big difference on offer night.
100%.
Right?
And I didn't know that as a new agent.
No.
So I used to just get away from doing it. It's a lot of investment. Like I've spent anywhere from my minimum cost these days is like $3,000-4,000 on a small condo, and it goes up to like $25,000 I've spent on some of the other homes. But you get it back. You sell it much quicker. You sell it much higher. The clients are happy. They know that you've done your best, so that when there is a blip or if you're getting an offer, they don't question like, is that the highest offer I could have gotten?
They know you did it.
It's
They know
like
you went,
we've
yeah.
done everything right.
Yeah.
So this offer is what the market allows for your house. So
Nice.
Yeah.
So let's go back to social for in a second. You've taken a really creative approach. So you're not just going down there talking about market reports. You've taken a
Not at
creative
all.
approach to your network and trying to, introduce yourself and your alter ego to the network. One, what was the motivation for that? I know Cameron tells me that you had some creative influence from your father. So let's talk about that. And two, are you seeing that translate into business and how so?
So when I first started with the content, I wanted to make content, but I didn't want to make like regular realtor real estate content. And I was doing well enough for myself that I wasn't like just making content for the purpose of making money. I was like, I want to just get out there, but I don't want to do, the regular boring stuff. So I decided to just let my inner child and my, goofy side, my humor, just let it out. So I started with just making content for myself, really. And I think that's where the key is, because a lot of realtors will think of making content for the purpose of gaining a client. And when you do that, you're constantly adjusting and recalibrating what you're saying, how you're looking, and so on. And it's coming out as not authentic. And then people don't connect with it. When I did it, I just like, I'm just going to be funny. And if I think of a joke, I'm going to translate that into a video and put it out there. And people started really connecting with it. At first, people were like, what is this guy doing? Right? Because you don't know, you don't have a backstory to who is this guy and is he actually funny? Is he just making jokes? But then as the years went by, I started kind of creating a following where people were fans of the content I was making. And then they started seeing my stories of how I do the more serious stuff on a day-to-day basis. Because the problem with social media is whatever you put out there gets amplified.
Yeah.
So if you do a funny skit, they think you're just a goof. But you have to balance it with your other stuff. Obviously, I have 5 kids. I'm a father. Like, I can't just be a goof in my whole life. Like, I'm running a business. It's now my 14th year. Like, I'm doing something else than just making funny videos. Now my followers are understanding and getting the whole picture of who I am. Like, I like to be healthy. I work out. I, take care of my kids, my family. I take them out, make sure they get experiences. I take care of my clients. But I have this nice sense of humor that I don't mind putting out there, because I know there's people that can relate to some of those jokes, because most of the stuff is relatable. Like whether it's an agent relating to the funny real estate joke or it's a client relating to the joke, when people relate to it, it's a much more powerful connection than just seeing you talk about a market stat. Mm-hmm. They don't
like
connect
every
to
other
that.
realtor that's
Every other realtor, like they might listen to the stat and just to get an idea, but most people are not buying or selling every single day, so they don't care for that information until it applies to them. But if you're making content that is more relatable, they're going to want to hear more from you, mm-hmm. and they'll be more tuned in, and their attention will be there. And attention is the biggest currency right now. So,
how do your kids like your performances?
They like it. I had my son the other day, and I was telling Cam this. We were going through the garage cleaning things, and I had a video where I dressed in heels and with the wig, and he saw the red heels, and he's like, "Oh, Papa, Mama's shoes," and I'm like. I was like, yeah, Mama's shoes. Mama wears size 11 shoes. Like, give me those. Just like change the subject.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into that conversation. But they think that Dad is a celebrity because they see the videos and stuff, and they see me edit, and they're like, what are you doing? And I let them see it, and it's funny because there's a lot of the stuff I wouldn't think they would get, but when they watch it, they laugh at the right spots of the video, and I realize that. Some of the stuff is just universal. Like laughter is really universal.
Yeah.
You can make a joke that's real estate related, but the kids get it too.
Yeah.
And that's where it's powerful because you're appealing to a wide audience. And that's really all it is. And in our business or in any business, like your dentist, your doctor, whatever, you want to make sure that you can connect with them, that they're personable, that they're, approachable. And social media is incredible for that because they get to see you. They get to spy on you from the bushes and make sure they like you, and then they come out. Mm-hmm. But when they come out, they're already a fan. Mm-hmm. They're not second guessing. They're going right with it.
Yeah,
so
they feel like they know you.
They feel like they know you. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you measure? Like, do you have data on your conversion? Do you measure what you're putting out there and what you're getting back?
No, not really. I just I wish I could put out more. To be honest with you. People look at me as like I'm the content creator, but I'm really not. I've been doing it since 2018. I started. I only have 200 posts. Mm-hmm. Like you might have more than that on your social media.
Scam.
Yeah. Like I know Matt Campoli has a lot more posts than that, but I wish I could put out more because
now, you're not digitally advertising for the most part. You're.
I started recently.
Okay.
I started recently because I noticed.
But your following is more. Like
it's organic, yeah. But even so, there's
that's harder to measure, right?
It's harder to measure, but you could see in the engagement. So like if there's a lot of comments and a lot of likes versus views, it just means that you have a really organic following that truly appreciates your content. That's why they're engaging with it. They're commenting, they're liking, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
So it sounds like you're pivoting a bit and you're moving into digital advertising as well. How are you using digital advertising?
Well, I just noticed that Instagram has now allowed you to sponsor your reels, and so I started just dipping into that a little bit. And it's not really like gaining fake followers. It's like you take a video you've already created, and you put some money behind it so that Instagram pushes it out further. And if others will see it, and if they enjoy the content, they'll hit follow themselves. So they decide still they're following. But I'm very against like buying followers and that kind of thing. It may look good on your account that like Kash has 100,000 followers, but if it's not real, you're not getting real feedback when you're posting stuff. Mm-hmm. You're not getting real comments. You're not getting real. So you don't know which direction your followers want you to go, right? Mm-hmm. And you're kind of losing your identity to fake bots. Yeah. But there's all sorts of things. Like there's the character that I came out with recently that does really well. The Persian community kind of started following me a lot more.
That was my next question. Mm-hmm. How's the Persian community responding to your?
They like it because it's relatable.
Yeah.
Right. We have certain cultural stereotypes that are true, and Persians love to be luxurious. We are very image conscious. We have to be the best of the best all the time. And my dad was like that. So some of that character, I took bits and pieces from my dad, which is why it comes so naturally. And they like it, they enjoy it because it's not necessarily a bad thing. Like we're very proud people. Persians are proud, and because of that pride, it kind of holds them to a certain standard, right? You have to be well dressed, you have to be well spoken, you have to be, successful and blah, blah, blah. It's a lot of pressure because on the other hand, it's a fine line between having a great image and then the other side of that is to uphold an image and what would people think of me? So that could have a lot of pressure for people as well. Like I know a lot of my clients, Persian clients, had sometimes asked like, oh, but what will people think if I bought this house? It's like, hey, that's your budget. Forget about what people think.
Yeah.
This will get you to the next step and the next level. This is your investment. Don't worry about what people think, because that puts you in financial stress, right? So,
But it sounds like they also have a sense of humor if they are responding to your content.
oh,
as
they
well
have a
as
sense
are.
of humor
Yeah.
because they know the underlying message is very true.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it funny, really.
That's great.
Right.
So with that said, is a big part of your business the Persian community? What's
No,
the
actually,
demographic
it's
of your
not.
clients?
No, because I actually got better at Farsi in real estate. Before that, my Farsi was very broken. We left Iran when I was 3 years old. We lived in Europe, in Belgium, and we came here in '94. I spoke French, was my first language pretty much. Farsi, my parents would speak to me, but like French was what I went to school for, and then English here. So all my clients around me were like friends and colleagues from past workplaces, and not many Persians. But when I started working in Willowdale and doing business in Richmond Hill with Realtor, that's when I started dealing with a lot more Persians. And at first it was very difficult because I don't have the same way of communicating. I don't get the jokes sometimes. There's this song and dance with Persians, like the way you speak, it's like 3 layers deeper than English. You have to get the jokes, you have to get the sayings, and sometimes I wouldn't get them, or sometimes I would say things that I'm translating directly from English, and it's somewhat offensive. Amongst Persians, you have to be well spoken. You have to speak a certain way. It has to be a very respectful way. Like you can't just say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," for example. You can't say that. That's very disrespectful. But we might say that to each other, like, "Oh, you're not, what you're saying is wrong," for example. Like that's okay to say, but amongst Persians, like that would be rude. So learning that took some years, and I had a partner who's Persian at some point, and he helped me and he taught me a lot of that too. And actually, talking about all this Persian culture and stuff, I want to kind of.
I was going to open this up for you, but I want to get into some business planning, scheduling, consistency.
No,
talk,
you can
personal
continue.
Talk,
You can continue.
While we're
but I
still
brought some
on
stuff,
talking
yeah.
about your Persian and your different characters, let's get into explain why the scissors are on the table.
No.
The
So
plate
I
and the
brought you.
spoon
So I didn't. Cam asked me to bring the wig and stuff and pull out the Persian character, but I'm not going to do that. Instead,
I'm not wearing a wig, right?
No, you're not wearing the wig. I know your hair is nice, and it probably took some time to get it that way. No, but I did bring you to get you more familiarized with the Persian culture. If you know anything about Iran and where it's located, and the history is super long, and where it is geographically, it's like in the middle. It's like the hub of all the trades. So Persians have a wide range of different foods and things like that, and we really like sour things. So how do you like sour?
I love sour.
You love sour?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good. Okay, perfect. I thought you wouldn't.
I'm a big pickle guy.
Okay, good. So I brought a bunch of different things that I want you to try to see what level of sour you can handle.
Okay.
So here we've got like some fruit to go stuff. Then we have some like sour, like lavashak candy. I think people would know this. This is lavashak, we call it. It's fruit to go.
You're going to mess up my macros today.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. No, you're just going to taste. This stuff here is pomegranate, prunella. It's like a dried pomegranate. It probably has some seeds in there, I guess. And then I know this is not really technically sour, but I got to get you to try this. Cam tried this before. Look, he's yakking. You can't see Cam's face, but he's yakking. So this is one of my favorite things. Persians love it. I made a bunch of kids try it back in high school. I'm not going to say what they thought about it. I'm going to get you to try it
I'll try anything.
So let's try this. But unfortunately, though, this is it's very gassy, and it might kind of go everywhere in your office. I don't want, and I have.
I was in Egypt last year and ate camel balls, so I'm sure I'm going to try.
You had camel balls?
Camel balls.
Okay,
yeah.
well, this is not really camel balls, but yeah, it might. I got some other stuff here too. I'll tell you.
They didn't tell me what it was at the time when I was eating it, but
Did it taste good?
it was fine. It was great.
Yeah. Okay. So let me open it in the bag in case it goes everywhere.
Is this my glass?
Yeah,
Crystal glass for this
crystal glass. So tell me a little bit what your question is. Well, because this is a process. Because When you open it, it fizzes out.
Oh, you have to.
So you got to do it slowly. So I'm going to do this while you're still going through the questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
you do that.
Yeah. So
or
tell
do
me.
we want? Should we open up this and taste it first?
Yeah. You have scissors here.
Yeah.
Okay.
There.
So you know what? Let's
got your
go with
hands
this.
full.
Yeah.
I'll-
You do this.
What is this? Like a fruit roll up?
That's a fruit roll up. I think you'll enjoy that. That's probably like level 1. I would say. I would call that a level 1.
It's like that. What's that podcast? The guy who makes everybody.
Oh,
Try
like
the
the
wings, the
spicy
hot
wings?
wings?
Yeah. See, I think this is great to get you familiar. How much do you know about the Persian culture, Persian foods? Have you
I
tasted?
don't claim to know a lot. Persian food. I eat. Like, yeah.
Take a look at this. So I've never seen Dual look this fancy.
Did you ever go to Banu? On,
Banu, yeah.
on
Yeah.
Queens?
That's like infused a little bit.
Yeah.
So it looks like milk. It's fizzing like Coca-Cola.
This smells good. This smells sweet.
That one. So the guy told me is like we don't really have too sour, but I think that's like he's talking Persian standard. So it should still be sour to the average guy, but since you like sour, you might be okay with this. That one is a cherry flavor. They do pomegranate. They do all sorts of different other flavors too, peaches and plums and stuff like that.
really
Here,
sticky.
give it to
I
you.
got
Oh,
it.
okay, you got it. It's on 2 layers, both layers, of front and back. And yeah, so I love sour. I love candy.
Now, is there plastic on this?
Yeah, there's plastic on everything. 2 layers of plastic, 1 on each side. Here, give them to me. Yeah. So while I do this, you have the cameras on him. So this is not sour. This is actually
I'm pulling my garbage out just to be on the safe side.
just in case he gets sick. Did you take the plastic off this side?
No, I think that's like. I have one here that has plastic on.
Yeah, this got the plastic off here.
Okay.
So take a bite of that and tell me what you think. Oh, no,
still
there is plastic.
Man, they really.
If you like sour, then I think.
They want you to work for it. You
Yeah.
grew up in the East Coast eating lobster. It's less work.
True. It's actually tasty.
Yeah, it's great.
It's good, no?
Yeah, I
Okay.
wouldn't call it sour though.
Yeah, he did say that they didn't really have the sour stuff. I want you to wash it down with
It's
this
good.
drink here. This is called Dour, okay? It's yogurt soda. It's yogurt, club
That is
soda.
such a weird thought. Yogurt. Soda.
Yogurt soda. Weird, really weird. Mint. It's got mint in it.
I would advise people not to smell it first.
Yeah. Okay. What does it smell like?
Moving forward.
What does it smell like?
It smells like wine sitting in milk for a few days.
That's not a bad description. Yeah. Yeah. Now taste
You
it.
know what? It smells like champagne sitting in milk. That's what it smells like. It's an interesting. I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
Whoa. Whoa. This is incredible
Like
news.
the initial like texture of a liquid, if I will, is different. Like, It's almost like you can get the carbonation out of it.
Yeah. But it's
But I
thick
the
like
taste.
milk.
Yeah.
It's thick like milk, but it's carbonated. It's fizzy. It's got mint, yogurt mint.
I like it.
You like it?
Yeah.
Wow, this is incredible. You're gonna have to put this. You're gonna attract a lot of Persian realtors from the fact that you love this sour stuff. I thought I'd be here like making you make all sorts of sour faces.
Tell them to come down. I'll buy a
Okay.
case of it.
So you know what? We're gonna skip the rest here.
Okay.
We're gonna go straight to the big bang. Okay. This here is, I don't know how to describe it. This is the last process of milk. This is where milk goes to die, and that's why it's black. Okay. It's called
Like we
qarequt.
let the milk curdle.
You let
We've
yeah.
let it age.
Yeah, I don't know exactly the process, to be honest with you, but yeah, it's after yogurt, after cheese, after it's just like rotting in the sun. I don't know what the process is, but
Amazing salesman.
yeah. You're gonna enjoy this. This is gonna be a whole different bang. Let's see if you
Looks
really.
like a block of hash.
It looks like a block of hash. Yeah. This would be a great way to smuggle hash, actually, possibly. So I want you to take a piece of that and
Who tried this for the first time?
try that. Now get his face, because this one might be.
Again, I would advise you to tell people moving forward not to smell it.
You can't say you like this one. There's no way. There's no way you like this one.
I feel like I just ate cow manure.
Yes, that's a great description. Cow manure, but sour cow
I
manure.
have to spit this out.
You want to spit it out? Spit it out. I got you. Good. Finally. Oh, you know what?
Oh my God.
You want to know what's funny? My mouth is watering for this right now. I just smelled it, and I
Are you
want
serious?
it. Oh, I love this stuff. I love this stuff. And you know what? To be honest with you, that's actually a good
It's so
one.
weird. Now that I spit it out, I'm liking the taste. Like it's like now it's sour. Mm-hmm. But at the time, it felt like I was tasting what cow manure smells like.
You're right, though. It kind of tastes like milk has gone super sour. It's crusted up, almost has a vomit taste with dust. It's like a dusty vomit crust that's been sitting on a shelf somewhere. You
But
scrape
I
out
love the
aftertaste.
the aftertaste, like the sour aftertaste.
You want to know what's funny? I haven't eaten anything all day. It's almost 3 p.m. and this stuff is sour, so it's gonna kind of react with the stomach acids.
Yeah.
So
For
I'm very impressed. I got to give you, on a Persian scale, and there he is. He's drinking some more Dour. So, ladies and gentlemen,
Was
you've
that Dour?
Dour. To all the Persian folks out there, Mark is invited to the Nowruz parties. You're in with the
That
crowd.
is unbelievable that you just cracked that open to eat it yourself.
Yeah. So, Cam, you want to try some? You got to try some.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, he's got to try some. You can't just buzz around there. Here, take a piece. Yeah, flip that camera.
Looks like Kash.
He's almost. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't see this, but he's almost gagging, and he did. He spat it out.
It's like beef jerky and chopped.
Yeah. If you would like to try some, contact me directly because you can't buy it at Loblaws. I guarantee you that. Contact me. Get in touch with me. We'll have a challenge. Who can have the most?
I can't get over that last.
Mark, I gotta say, I'm very impressed with the fact that you can handle the sour. You drank the Dour, which is like you're like in the
I'll try
1
any. There's
percentile.
nothing I won't try.
No, not just try. You drank the whole thing and you enjoyed it, so that's huge.
Yeah, that one I like. It's
Have you ever done your 23andMe?
no.
Because I have a feeling you have like a little Persian in you.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, accidental. What's your ethnic background, anyways?
Irish.
Irish. Ah,
Yeah, my father's side Irish, my mother's side German.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Back to business.
Back to business.
You have a lot going on. Mm-hmm. You are. One of my biggest pet peeves is when agents say, "I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
I don't have time for building content." You're a 7-figure agent. You are building a ton of content. You have a wife and 5 kids. You have your own investments. Talk to me about your schedule, how you maintain that schedule, how you maintain health. Like you said, you're big to the gym, as we see online a lot. So tell me about maintenance of your schedule and fitting it all in.
So, you know what the problem is? Perfection. I used to be a perfectionist. Perfection is bad.
It's an inhibitor.
Yeah, because it will make you stall on the tasks and you'll procrastinate because you want to just do it perfectly. I try to stick to the rule of 80-20 rule. Do the 20% that will give you the 80% results in that category and move on. If I'm doing the gym stuff, I'm not going to obsess over every single calorie. I'm not going to count everything because that's going to drive me nuts. If I'm trying to be a good father, I don't obsess over like, what did I say? What did I do? Like, I try to make time for all my kids together collectively. And then I try to make time for them individually because they need that.
I agree.
And always be in a good mood. Be in a good mood and love them, be around for them. And and always want the best for them.
I like you said that about the individual thing because I think if you just do it collectively, you're missing things with the
100%.
individuals, right?
Yeah, and we started noticing this.
Cam's
with
in
my
trouble
wife.
over there.
He's still puking. We noticed that with my wife. Like after we had like the 3rd or the 4th kid, we're like, you know what? We have to start spending time individually because, as a collective, they're always trying to fight for the attention. And until you give it to them and charge their batteries, they're not going to cool down and settle. They're going to start acting out and wanting that attention.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and it's cool, like, because I'll take Casper to work sometimes, or I'll take I'll do something with Kenzo, like arts and crafts. Like he likes that stuff. I'll go to the arcade with Keanu. Like he's a gamer kind of thing. Or we'll go for walks, and we're going camping soon. And we just came back from a Mennonite farm, which was really cool because we got to milk cows and goats and stuff like that. But you don't have to go crazy to be the perfect dad. No. You don't have to be the perfect dad. You have to be a good dad.
Intention.
You don't have to be the perfect agent. You have to be a great agent. And that's exactly it. Like, I don't kill myself with the details. I just go with the flow. When it comes to business, what's the most important thing? Having the experience, the knowledge, and the ability to do a good job for the client. But more than that, the clients want you to present. They want you listening. They want you to pick up the phone when they call. It's not that difficult, You just, like, as long as I have, the thing that I have the advantage of is going through all that experience has taught me a lot. So I gained the experience and knowledge really early. And then it was just a matter of providing good service. And it was an easy gap. So 80-20 rule is the best. Don't try to be perfectionist.
To get a bit more specific, are you a time blocker? Are you a scheduler?
So what I do is I'll place things that are very important. Like we have this meeting, I'll put it in there. I'll put my gym sometime in the morning, but I'll leave room for flexibility in between, right? Because if you're over blocking yourself, I don't know how Elon Musk does it. No, I'd love to see his schedule, but it's probably like he counts it by the minute. At 1:46 p.m., I'm going to say I love you to my son. And then at 2 p.m., like it's a little too crazy because no one can keep up with that.
No.
Then what's the point of life?
I think it's all like, it's relative, right? Like you're putting them in there as a guide, but you're right. There has to be room for flexibility.
Yeah. Flexibility is very key because you don't want to stress yourself.
The whirlwind messes you up, right? You can stick your schedule all you want. The whirlwind of a day can mess you up.
Especially as a realtor.
Yeah.
Like you get a call that will take 30 minutes that you weren't expecting that call. So what do you do now, right? And you have to be flexible. Clients want that flexibility. Someone wants to see a house tonight. They want you to come. They don't want your teammate to come and show it to them because they want to have a discussion with you about that house. There's certain things on their mind, so you have to make the time to go there. So, and I'm blessed to have that flexible time because sometimes I'll spend time with my kids in the morning and then do my afternoon appointments. Like summertime. Next week they don't have summer camp. I'm going to take a bit more time off. I'm going to spend time taking them to the zoo and maybe go to Bruce Peninsula, like do a little road trip, things like that, right? Nice. But since COVID, it's minimized. It's kind of cut the fat out of my schedule because we train people to do most of the things online, DocuSign, this, that. I don't have to drive all the way to get an initial anymore. And then you kind of cut out the events and parties that you didn't necessarily need to go to. And now I just spend time with family and friends, business, and then my health and all that stuff. So it's just the main pillars that I'm focused on.
For sure. Yeah. And as far as team building, are you looking to build a bigger team?
Yeah, so that's where I have a little bit of trouble because I've had people that we've hired in the past that I've had to let go. Right now I'm working with Ash. We've got a pretty good system going, an assistant, but the only difference is that I have to work with certain types of people, especially in real estate, because if a client's calling me, they like who I am. They want my level of service. They don't want me to just hand them over to another agent, right? So the way we have a system now is like every client that comes through, we're all hands on deck. We kind of get an idea, clear picture. We establish a relationship. We get a WhatsApp group chat going, and then we'll kind of all pitch in. Some Ash will do a showing, or I'll be in the negotiation, but then we'll all be aware of what's happening and where it's at and so on. And the clients like that because it's hands-on, but it doesn't take my physical time, right? I could be on the WhatsApp group with my kids. I could be doing negotiations over the phone and DocuSign it over. So I'm very blessed that things have panned out for me and my situation.
Perfect world, where is that at in 5 years from now?
Where am I at?
Your business and the team.
Perfect world, I think I would be making a lot more content, and then having a streamlined process to bring in the clients and then be able to give them the same level of service that I'm giving today, but with a more bigger team who are all like-minded. You know what I mean? Like people who appreciate giving service and then really like babysitting the clients, because that's kind of like the person and the service that I provide. You have all sorts of different agents. Some agents are, like business type. They're the negotiation. They only do like investment properties and they don't provide that service. I go above and beyond. The guy's calling me. He still needs help moving his stuff. I'll take my movers. I'll store his stuff for him. I'll find him an Airbnb, like things like that.
Yeah.
So I want the team to grow, but with people that are also believe in that same value.
Trust.
Yeah. But a lot more content. So making a lot more content, getting a lot more attention, streamlining the business, and then having a very good team that's reliable that can handle that level of volume. At the moment, I think I can handle more volume. I'm doing a lot of transactions, but we can handle it. But I would require the help of other good teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what platforms are you using? Do you see any trends going a certain way, or are you going to just continue on it with Instagram, or are you going to start jumping over to other platforms?
I really like Instagram, and the reason I like Instagram is because I'll repost on TikTok, but I find TikTok is it's like a cesspool of like negativity, and the reason why people are a little bit more brutal on TikTok is because Instagram allows you to share a lot more about your life. People get a better idea of who you are. On TikTok, you just post the video, but you don't post pictures. You don't post I know you could do stories, but I'm just not used to it. So I don't post my stories. I don't have highlights on TikTok. On Instagram, someone's land on there. They can watch my highlights, see what sales I've done, see my family stuff, see some of the pictures, and then see my process with the staging and whatever, and then see some of my sales, and then see my funny videos. So they get a complete image of who I am, and it's easier to portray that. On TikTok, it's just like, this guy just made a funny video, like what kind of, and then you get so much hate comments, like, oh, realtors just make free money, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, if it's free money, why aren't you collecting? You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, I was just talking to Matt about this morning, but how do you deal with the hate?
You just can't give it attention. There's hate in this world at every corner. If you're gonna try to address every single one of them, it will drain you, and you'll have no more love to give to your family, to your friends, so you got to just ignore it. Sometimes I'll engage. I like engaging because I like to have the witty. I'll like hit back, but I'll hit back without the emotion.
Yeah, just
You can tell there's so much insecurity, so much hatred, so much. There's people that are living in the darkness. That social media is giving them access to other people that otherwise they wouldn't have access to. So you're a pretty positive person. If someone is very dark and just wants the worst for the people around them, you wouldn't be interacting with that person.
I have zero patience for it.
You have zero patience. But on social media, you can brush shoulders with them very easily. Yeah, they can come on your page and leave comments.
Matt made a good point this morning, though. If you don't give it any time, but if you take 3 seconds to look at it, they're usually fake accounts, and it's someone that just has too much time in their hands and just has too much hate in their own life.
Yeah.
Right?
And most of the time you'll say or make comments on things that you're insecure about. Mm-hmm. If someone said, Kash, you're gay, I'd be like, well, whatever.
Yeah.
You could think whatever you want, It
doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me. I have 5 kids. I have my wife. And if I was gay, who cares? Like, what's it to you? But if I was secretly gay and I was hiding it, and someone said, Kash, you're gay, I would be like, I would take offense, and maybe I'd react a certain different way because I'm not comfortable with that comment. And maybe that's something that's on their mind they're projecting. So I'm just using gay as a thing because I was talking about it earlier. But or anything, could be anything. Like, Kash, you're short. Because I am short, it might actually affect me a little bit. I'd be like, oh, pretend like I didn't. But if I was like 6'2" and someone's like, Kash, you're so short, they're like, okay, good for you. So it's usually, if it's something that's an insecurity, you'll either, pick on someone for that insecurity, and it shouldn't bother you unless it's really like an insecurity of yours. But it's a matter of not letting it, just letting it pass and understanding that people have their own problems. And
there's too much support and positivity to go down that route. Right? Just stay away from the road.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, you have to stay positive. Like for me, especially because I just have to carry out this good mood for my kids when I go home, for my wife, when I'm working out, when I'm making content, when I'm interacting with people. It's very important.
Good lead-in.
Yeah.
How do you do that? We both are very busy people. We have a lot in a given day. Mm-hmm. You're managing your business. I'm managing my companies. How do you shut it off? How do you make sure that you don't bring that home and allow your kids and your wife to absorb it?
Well, one main issue is understanding that whatever problem you're going through right now, time will fix it. It will replace it with another problem. So you should never be too much invested in that current issue. You should write it down, what you need to do to resolve it, and put it away. And understand that whatever you're going through will change with time. It'll be resolved. It'll be gone, and then something else will come and replace it. So don't give too much emotion, and don't give too much, like weight on those issues. So that's one thing. Then it's the negative people. Like try to really block them out. And then it's the healthy habits. Like working out is a huge one. Maintaining a good balanced diet, having great relationships with people who are also positive, who
you surround yourself with,
surrounding yourself with, but also laughter, like comedy, jokes, like just me and Cam will fool around and we'll say jokes and we'll crack up, and that'll feed me for the day. Or when I hang out with Matt, like we pick at each other, or like
your dancing buddy.
My dancing buddy, exactly. We danced for you. Just moments like that, it carries you through the day. You can't wipe that smile off your face that easily. So, and that energy when you're like upbeat, when you're happy, as soon as you meet someone, they feel it. It's tangible. And that's what makes them want to like hang out and want to be part and want to do business with you, because they want to be around that.
Or you seen any creativity coming out of your children yet?
Oh yeah. My second is like super creative. He's very artistic, and earlier on when we became parents, I would tell my wife, I'm like, listen, if we don't do anything right for these kids, all we got to do is at least show them love, like love. So they're filled with love. Like we grab them, we hug them, we kiss them, we always tell them we love them. And that's one thing that I'm really proud of, because I can see it like radiating off of them. And I could see that it encourages them to, I don't know, it gives them a boost of creativity when they're full with love. Like my second, he draws hearts all the time in his family, and everything's like rainbows and perfect and colorful, and you could see what his thought process is like. It's very positive. So yeah, I could see it's benefiting them, like the approach that we're taking and the values that we have. And it's not that complicated. People think, oh, you're a parent of 5. Like there's so much.
5 boys, right?
5 boys, yeah. I think society, especially North American society, has placed too many rules on everything. Like, oh, don't do this, don't do that. Did you know? Like you watch the news and there's like, don't use this toothpaste, don't eat that food, don't touch that floor, don't walk with these shoes. Everything, everything is a negative thing that could kill your child. You got to just forget about all that. There's people out there living bare feet in the streets of like Iran, where I came from. Like I used to go to the corner store at 3 years old. I remember go pick up stuff for the house in my dad's sandals, and like, it was fine. Like I didn't
imagine your 3-year-old going down the road.
No, I can't imagine. No, I won't go that
crazy.
Hear
that story, but like
but we haven't baby-proofed our house. All of our kids have fallen down the stairs once at least, but they've quickly learned. And I feel like if they didn't fall down the stairs, they wouldn't have learned. I remember my sister had baby-proofed her whole house. There was one corner of the table where the foam had fallen off. Her daughter hit that corner.
They'll find it every time.
Yeah. So you can't change the world. You got to prepare your kids for the world.
There's a documentary. It's about raising children in Japan, in Tokyo specifically. I forget the name of the documentary now. It's on Apple TV. But
Japan is nuts. Yeah.
They're talking about like a big part of childhood. Big thing that they do. It's a tradition. Like 4 years old, they start letting children walk to the grocery store and the convenience store on their own. And obviously that starts off with the parents following like 200 feet behind them, 100 feet behind them for the first little while, but teaching them to navigate the streets.
I've seen those videos, and I think apparently in Japan it's like they sometimes they'll put like these vests on the kids, so they go to school on their own and they'll ride the subway on their own, and they're like really young, and like there's no crime there. People look out for the kids that are wearing those vests. So if they need help, they'll assist them. It's a whole different culture. And like apparently I heard that in Japan, if they teach kids, they make the kids clean the schools themselves. So they don't have janitors. Like that's part of the program. And I think that's genius. It's like, those are the real life things that you got to teach these kids, right? Not bring them to school and teach them like just calculus or whatever that they might use, but they're not cleaning after themselves. There's a janitor that's cleaning. the cleaning portion you'll need to learn because you'll need it every day. You know, like basic knowledge of like how to make money and how to spend it and credit card debt and all that stuff.
Which
they don't
is
teach
not
you any of
taught
that
enough.
stuff. Nothing.
They don't focus on it. No.
Nothing. So it makes you think that is the schooling system really made there to educate the
If
kids?
you go back to your story at the beginning of this episode, the 16 years old and having to come up with the down payment and then help to contribute to maintaining the carrying costs in that house.
Yeah.
That was a better education than anything I
Oh
got
yeah,
in
huge,
high school.
huge, and building that house and making mistakes and like I try to be the general contractor of that project, and I was stretched thin because I was getting good enough business for sales, and I was trying to do this project at the same time. The contractors wouldn't show up on time because they knew that was like a one-off project. I wasn't like a repetitive builder.
Amazing learning lesson though.
Oh, huge. Yeah. I learned a lot.
2 last questions. This is the one that everybody stresses about for some reason every time I ask it. Not the first one, but the second one. First question is your 2 favorite neighborhoods in Toronto?
So
GTA, I should say.
So it's funny because I've only now have come to decide on that because I live in the Uplands area. I don't know if you know where that is.
No.
Uplands Golf and Ski Hill,
Okay.
Yonge, like Thornhill, Yonge and 407, south of 407. My space is a little bit small, and I bought the house with the intention of building it. So I've been, for the past 2 years, I've been looking for a big house that I could fit the whole family in an equally good neighborhood, and I really can't find it. Like I really love my neighborhood, so that's got to be my number 1 neighborhood. Second, I probably choose like Bayview and York Mills area because I am Persian, and we do like the luxurious things and those estate lots and being close to the bridle path and having my dogs run in the backyard with my kids on a lot that's like 500 by like 2,000 would be amazing within the city. But it's not as tangible as what I have right now.
Yeah.
I've got a pretty good lot backing onto the golf course. We get to see the sunset every night.
Beautiful.
Can't let it go. I think I'm going to have to build my house there.
That's great. That's great. And your 2 favorite restaurants in the GTA?
Oh, so I really like Persian food. Yeah. So I would say my favorite Persian restaurant, there's the ones that are fancy, like Banu is fancy, but the go-to, the one I normally go to is Shomal, which is Steels, on Steels. Shomal, North.
Okay.
North,
How do you spell it? No, right.
Shomal.
I'm just going to go with you.
Yeah, we're going to go. I'll take you. Yeah, done deal.
Great.
Yeah.
Second?
Second, I really like Armenian food.
Okay.
Lebanese food. Tabbouleh in Bayview Village. Yeah, I really like that. Do you ask this so that next time we go out, like you?
Well, I'm definitely making a list.
Yeah. Yeah, I like Middle Eastern cuisine. I'm a big foodie guy. Like I like sushi. I like Italian.
I love Middle Eastern. I agree. It's a healthy way of eating.
Mediterranean, Middle Eastern. Like I love fruits, vegetables. Like I've got to have a wide range of. Like when I go to Persian restaurant, I don't just eat kebab and rice. I get the grilled peppers. I get the grilled tomatoes. I got to get the salad on the side, the yogurt soda. Like bring out the radishes and stuff like that, and it has to be complete. But yeah, that's you don't get like I like Chinese food too, but like a lot of the Chinese restaurants here are not authentic.
No.
It's just fast food Chinese, like North American Chinese.
Yeah.
So a lot of that MSG, like sticky and heavy and still enjoy it though.
But authentic Chinese food is fabulous.
Yeah, I've had authentic Chinese food. It's different. Yeah. So yeah, I mean,
That's great. Well, this was entertaining. I'm surprised we got through this with seeing the wig, but I got to try some of this stuff, and it's great. Pleasure
I think you know what, you gained a lot of Persian people's respect today.
And again, I do that
Dual.
again. That was
Mark likes dual. That's huge.
Dual.
Yeah.
Duals. How do you spell it?
Well, Doogh.
Yeah. Okay.
That's Farsi.
Interesting. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me on, man. Really appreciate it.
Appreciate you.
All right. See ya.